It looks like you really liked my base hacks video from a while ago. So here are 5 more Astroneer base hacks. Number 1. Tapper power. Use tappers as soon as possible. They're easy to craft, they only require 1 aluminum, and they can be attached to any plant. They provide infinite organic, which can be used for power. Even in the early game, you can use the organic for small generators. And even with no automation, you can manually grab it and feed it into small generators whenever you need power in your base. When you progress and you can unlock and craft or find in the caves the medium generators, then you can smelt the organic to get carbon. You will have infinite carbon that you can feed into medium generators, and that gives you a lot more power. As I said, you can just find these in the caves, so you don't need a ton of elaborate resources to craft them. Now this removes all your power problems in the game and is very helpful, especially early. And if you don't want to manually take the organic from the tappers and feed it into generators, then it only takes about 2500 bytes to unlock the tapper and the auto arm, and then you can use auto arms to take the organic from the tapper and feed it directly into small generators, or feed it into smelters, which then feed it into medium generators. All of that with less than 3000 bytes is really easy. Make sure you've got that in your base. Every Astroneer base should have this right now. It's completely overpowered, so get it as early as possible. And if you don't need any extra power right now, then you can use this strategy to build a byte farm and get a ton of bytes. Number 2. Perfect alignment. Tired of crooked platforms? All you have to do is place a packaged platform on top of an existing one, and they will be perfectly aligned. This works way easier than you think, and I should really start using this more often because I sometimes forget it exists. And if you want them to be at a perfect 90-degree angle, all you have to do is turn them to the side while they're on the platform, and then you'll have them aligned that way in a perfect way. Also, if you have a printer on a platform, then everything you print there will be aligned with the platform. So you can keep that in mind as well. This tip will get your base looking smoother than ever. Number 3. There's levels to this base. Everyone is building on the ground in Astroneer, but why not expand upward? Or even down below the surface. This brings new levels of excitement to your base building. Yes, I really did that pun, please don't judge me too hard in the comments. But if you want your base to be perfect, you can also build it in true flat. You can do that on top or below a gateway chamber. That's the best way to do it. I've done something like that in a past video, but I would like to try some multi-level bases as well, where they also have an underground section and multiple levels above surface, and you can have each level be for a different specific thing. So that's way more exciting than just having some platforms out in a field. Number 4. Vehicle access. Make sure your base is open enough to access all parts of it by vehicle. You don't want to only be able to get to one side of your base using a vehicle and then have the rest of it only accessible on foot, because then you have to carry all types of items from one end of the base to another, and that gets really boring after a while. Make sure you can access it with buggies, rovers, and even trains. Why not? You can have a rail system going through your base so that you can easily transport stuff from one side to another if you have a particularly large base, that is. If you want to have your base interconnected around the whole planet, maybe also have other bases or small outposts, then you should also build a really intricate rail system that spans the whole planet like I did on Aatrox. It helps with both exploration and resource collection. That was actually a pretty cool video to film. It did take a lot of time to build, but it was worth it. Number 5. Natural beauty. Don't forget that your main base is the place where you spend most of your time in Astroneer. So make sure it's not just a flat piece of grey land with scattered platforms on it. I talked about this a little bit in the levels to this base point. Make sure your base is not boring, because you're gonna spend a ton of time in there. So why not add some nature into it? You can plant some seeds around your platforms or surrounding your base. You can even use the new tappable plants and they can double down as organic generators. You should also paint your base, go around the universe and explore to find the perfect colors for your base. I promise you're gonna enjoy it. Or why not, you can also build a garden section to your base. I love to do that. It adds a little bit more nature, and if you also have some trees in between your platforms, that makes everything look much more aesthetic and pleasing. And by the way, if you have a small garden area, you can make sure you've got all of the plants necessary to feed your snails their favorite food, which will keep them active for twice as long. So those were 5 more base hacks. If you want to see the first 5 we did last year, then here's the video for that. Or if you've already seen that, then go watch this other one. Whichever one you choose, I'll see you there. Cheers, Astroneers!